Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And lift off.
Good, roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God.
We'll show 'em, won't we, boy?
We sure will.
Now, first of all, lad, we've got to get all these medieval ideas out of your head. Clear the way for new ideas. Knowledge of man's fabulous discoveries in the centuries ahead. Now, that'll be a great advantage, boy.
Advantage indeed. If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic.
The world is round?
Yes, that's right. And it also goes around.
You mean it'll be round someday?
No, it's round now. Man will discover this in centuries to come. And he will also find that the world is merely a tiny speck in the universe.
Universe?
You're only confusing the boy.
Oh, of all the idiotic guys, blow me to Bermuda!
Where did he go? To Bermuda, I suppose.
Where's that?
Oh, an island way off somewhere that hasn't been discovered yet.
You know, that's to get, they got 19.3 billion in taxpayers' money this year. And all they have to do is enough of Hollywood to give us enough photos and stories and hypnotize us and connect with our inner child.
And so they send these rockets up, but they don't really go anywhere.
Yeah, if you watch the trajectory,
right.
It's never straight. It's never straight. It's never straight. Where are you going?
Thing about the path that the rocket follows. Instead of moving in a straight line, the rocket following a curved trajectory. This isn't a mistake. You will see the exact same thing in every other video of a rocket launch. Even so, it doesn't seem to make sense. Rockets are supposed to go into space, right? So wouldn't it make more sense if they went straight up in a line, rather than following a parabolic path? They'd reach space much faster that way, it would seem.
Sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space is your imagination. There is no such thing as space.
Where are you going? Blow me to Bermuda!
Where did he go? To Bermuda.
Now, did you know that all rockets are launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida? Now, what's beside Florida? The ocean. You know what's in the ocean beside Florida? The Bermuda Triangle. Now, why don't they launch rockets from Texas, Colorado, or Kentucky? Because there's no ocean there for them to fall back into. And that is why they launched from Cape Canaveral, so they can drop it right in the Bermuda Triangle. And nobody ever know, nobody ever see, because nobody goes there.
And that's why they made up all these fairy tale stories about boats and planes
getting lost in the Bermuda Triangle, so stay away from it. But yet, the rockets fly straight over the Bermuda Triangle every time. And that's not to mention the fact that NASA has their tracking station located on the island of Bermuda, which also has an old naval runway located on it. Now, back in the space shuttle days, NASA would just take the space shuttle up over the ocean, up over the Bermuda Triangle, drop the rocket boosters off, and then the shuttle itself, well, it would just fly on out of view, which you think is flying around the curvature of the Earth. It would just fly out of view to where you can't see it anymore. And then everything that you see after that is some Hollywood, grainy, made-up footage that they show you that you cannot ever see with your own eyes. While the whole time they truly landed in Bermuda, hung out in Bermuda for a week or 10 days, while the whole time you thought they were in space. And then they all pretend like they're returning back from this space flight, landing in this shuttle that looks like some little flimsy airplane with the NASA stickers and the United States stickers still stuck on it after coming through the atmosphere. No burn marks whatsoever. The paint's still perfectly white, as if it just come off the showroom floor. And then you have the Apollo and the Artemis 2 missions where they perform what you call these splashdowns, meaning that the whole time, this whole week or so that went by, you thought they was in space, then all of a sudden they appear out of nowhere in a capsule with some parachutes on it and land in the ocean, and you believe that they just come from space. But in true reality, 5 minutes before that, here's what was happening up above the clouds where you cannot see. Now, after they pull their little airplane trick and they descend down far enough to be seen with binoculars and eventually the naked eye, that's when they switch over to the TV footage and make you think that they just came from space.
There's a good shot. Right. Beautiful.
Sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space is your imagination.
But really, the whole time they were somewhere in a hotel room while you thought they were in space. And they even show you this sometimes in your little television shows.
Hey, who wants to learn about the letter H?
I do!
Now what can we do with the letter H?
Create a massive global hoax.
What Ernie's referring to is the Apollo 11 moon landing that supposedly took place on July 20th, 1969.
To quote Neil Armstrong, this is one small step for man
and one giant lie to mankind. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Meanwhile, poor inept NASA couldn't get a rocket into space. Pew!
So they turned to Plan B.
I'm LBJ. Boo! The end of the decade is here, and there's still no Americans on the moon.
I'll help you, Mr. President.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Stanley Kubrick, and I'll use some tricks I learned while filming the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey to fake a moon landing.
Good. While people think they're in space, we'll keep the astronauts busy with whores and gambling. Then we'll pay them off, or brainwash them, or kill them. The end.
Squawk? But is there any real proof it was a hoax? Squawk!
Is this proof enough, Gully Bird?
Wow!
That was fun credible. And the truth.
Now, before NASA started doing these rocket launch shows to make you think they were going to space, back in the 60s and 70s, they used these models of rockets and audio sound effects to make you think they were going to space. And they even showed you that too in a show in 1968.
What do you want?
We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973.
Come again?
Plan the news for 1973. 1973. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind.
Today, April 14th, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown, firing their retro-rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
Switch it off. This is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen?
No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
Fake newsreels?
Yeah, fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth? And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it.
Yes, you're getting there. I knew you would.
Well, now the moon rocket and the satellite, that you can get away with. That's too remote for people to grasp. It's too far away.
Perspex.
Well, if this rocket doesn't work, then the others?
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. Well, you didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And nowadays, it's a whole lot easier for them to fool you because they don't have to use those old models as they did in the 60s and 70s. Nowadays, they just use their animation and cartoons to fool you. And the only thing that's real out of the whole thing is their little fireworks show at Cape Canaveral where everyone can go sit and watch this thing go up into the air and say, oh, I watched it, I seen it. But the rest of it, you've seen it all on TV, animation, CGI. And that part that you did watch live, as you see here, that rocket always curves off every time because there's a firmament there. Now, every now and then, you'll get the rockets who go up and kind of skid off of the aether, which is the fifth element, the layer below the firmament. That's why it looks like a boat skimming across water, because it's skimming across the surface of that aether. And nothing can get through this, just as the Bible says. They can sit there and skim off of it, just as you're seeing here, and give you some pretty little effects in the sky, but they cannot get through it. Every single rocket that you ever will see will always curve off or scrape along the aether underneath the firmament and give you these platonic pulses as you're seeing right here. But like I said, that's why their rockets curve off, because they cannot get through the firmament And this aether layer will stop you before you even get to the firmament, just as it did the amateur rocket launch in 2014, because that was not controlled by NASA and a government agency. It was amateur, so you can actually see the rocket being stopped by the aether below the firmament.
Our mission as the Civilian Space Exploration Team is to be the first civilian team in history to launch a rocket that reaches space.
All systems are go for launch. T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Now, as you can see right here, the only rocket that ever went straight up, that didn't curve off, went straight up, hit the firmament, and come to a complete stop. And another difference between this amateur rocket launch and NASA's rocket launches is right here. You can actually see what we know as the ice wall. Now, every now and then, you'll get a celebrity whistleblower exposing the same lies to you that I do.
Eddie Griffin has had a lot to say since the launch of his podcast, The Butt Naked Truth. His main argument would be that the government is trying to scare people from talking.
Ain't nobody been to the moon. Ain't nobody been outside this giant cage we're trapped in. The firmament is real. This is why rocket ships take off and they start shooting at an angle.
Thing about the path that the rocket follows. Instead of moving in a straight line, the rocket following a curved trajectory. This isn't a mistake, you will see the exact same thing in every other video of a rocket launch.
They'll scrape the firmament and they always land in the ocean.
Behind. Absolutely amazing, and to describe it to you from, and you can see it, but from the ground it almost looks as though a cloud of smoke with its own mind is just shooting through the sky.
It scraped the surface of the firmament, landed. That's all in one day, but the landing is like a week later, but that's when they show it. All the shit happened in one day.
Now, we're not going to get into all the green screen trickery in this video. We've seen a couple of them, the glitches where their astronauts are not in the cell phone footage, where the audience is taking pictures of them, and all of a sudden the chroma key words bleed through the marshmallow. As you can see right here, the little white words, it's all CGI green screen chroma key words leaking through that object because it's not really there. Artemis 2 is no different than all the other space agencies and little fake missions. They all use this green screen CGI. We've all seen the thousands and thousands of green screen glitches and videos that we've been putting out over the years to show you this, so we're not going to get into that. This video is specifically to show you how they use the rocket launches, the trickery of the rocket launches, to make you believe that they went to space and came back. But the truth is, they did not go anywhere because there's a firmament. And the director of NASA, Wernher von Braun himself, the chief architect and engineer of NASA's rocket, knew there was a firmament and that we couldn't go past it. and he left us a little message on his tombstone.
Psalm 19. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
I'm sorry to tell you, the only thing that's been to space is your imagination. The only thing that's been to space is your imagination.